Whether you operate one forklift or thousands, one location or hundreds, the new My Toyota customer portal can help you optimize your operation and material handling equipment. This one-stop, free-to-use platform is designed to help you take control of your information and make smarter decisions, all at the touch of a button. Register and access your data today at my.toyotaforklift.com. That's my.toyotaforklift.com.
With e-commerce off the charts, many small and growing warehouses are asking, how can I get ahead when my warehouse is barely keeping up? The answer is future-ready warehouse tech from Zebra Technologies. Warehouses can simplify and upgrade all processes, from automated inventory management to hands-free picking, with Zebra's tailored, scalable mobile solutions. They're simple and intuitive. There's never been a better time to upgrade for success with Zebra. How can your warehouse get ahead? The answer's in black and white. Get the answers at zebra.com/theanswer. That's zebra.com/theanswer. Businesses are retooling fulfillment operations, from warehouses to omnichannel, to meet new demand amid unprecedented labor shortages. 3PLs, retailers, B2B distributors, and others are turning to flexible fulfillment solutions like 6 River Systems to adapt and scale. 6 River Systems Fulfillment Execution System is an integrated solution that combines intelligent, cloud-based software and automation, including its autonomous mobile robot, AMR, Chuck. No costly or disruptive infrastructure changes, fast and easy associate training, and integrations with other warehouse execution solutions allow operations to meet labor challenges, increase efficiency, and enhance customer engagement. Go to www.6river.com to learn more. Go to www.6river.com to learn more. How do you create warehouse superheroes? The answer is simple. With visual voice scan solutions from ProCensus. With record demand and labor shortages, warehouses need more effective workers and lightning-fast onboarding. Visual voice scan solutions from ProCensus enable warehouse workers to achieve superhero performance with up to 20% improved productivity and up to 99% accuracy. Hands-free barcode scanners from ProGlove paired with wearable mobile computers is just the beginning. Improved mobile interfaces with reduced keystrokes, easy-to-read screens, custom keyboards, voice-enabled interface, and more can be realized with ease on the leading WMS platforms. Sound too good to be true? Let us show you with our one-of-a-kind virtual demo. Visit procensus.com to get started today. Again, that's procensus.com to get started.
Clark is a top 10 manufacturer of forklifts and spare parts with global headquarters in Lexington, Kentucky. Clark proudly offers products in all 5 classes, providing the perfect solution for every customer. Clark products are built to last, with a strong focus on safety and innovation. The S-Series line features smart, strong, and safe components that are designed to improve efficiency, operator comfort, and safety in practically every application. Ready to discover the Clark difference? Visit www.clarkmhc.com to learn more about their full lineup of products and to find your local Clark dealer today.
The New Warehouse Podcast, hosted by Kevin Lawton, is your source for insights and ideas from the distribution, transportation, and logistics industry. A new episode every Monday morning brings you the latest from industry experts and thought leaders. And now, here's Kevin.
Hey, it's Kevin Lawton with the New Warehouse Podcast here at MODEX 2022. It is day 3, and this is the first interview of the day. I am joined in the booth by Brandon Bullard. He's the Director of Sales and Marketing at Clark Material Handling. So I want to welcome Brandon to the booth. How are you doing?
I'm well. Thanks for having me.
Definitely happy to have you on. Happy to have you come over to the booth. So how has MODEX been for you so far? This is day 3, right in the beginning. We're doing this. So how's it been?
It's been great. It's been a good show. We've had a ton of traffic, met a lot of new folks. Very, very nice to see the turnout.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that. It's pretty wild, actually, the amount of people that are here on Monday and Tuesday. So we'll see how it is the rest of the week. But, I mean, very good, right? Very reassuring, I think, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're with Clark Material Handling. So why don't you give us a little bit of a background, brief overview of Clark and what it is you guys do?
Yeah, we did a little thing inventing the forklift in 1917. Been around for 105 years since then. Yeah, did a thing, absolutely. Our whole focus for a long time has been on innovation, safety, ergonomics, and as we go forward into the next generation, we look at continuing to push forward in the customer experience, being very focused on where our market is going and meeting our customers there.
Okay, great. And inventing the forklift, well, I think as an industry, we thank you, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so very big things, definitely, and you guys have been in the material handling world for a long time now, and obviously there's been a lot of evolution in that time. But what do you think right now as we look at MODEX 2022 and we're here, obviously there's a ton of technology around us, how do you think right now we are looking in the material handling industry, and how do you think we look towards the future?
Well, I think if you take a walk around MODEX, and everyone who has sees there's kind of a theme here, right? So you're seeing the rise of automation and the kind of the change towards that. I think that's where everything is going. If you come to the Clark booth, we have an automation partnership there and some exciting new products to take a look at. But I do think that is where the industry is going.
Yeah, I think absolutely, and I think just like you said, you walk around and there's just robots and stuff everywhere, right? So certainly the future. So you mentioned you have an automation partner in the booth itself. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we have a new partnership with a company called Third Wave Automation.
Okay.
They're putting together a near-while reach truck, a fully autonomous reach truck that we have there. We have a demo that folks can come see, and it's definitely an exciting partnership. We have some other things that we're working on, some new products in the electric space. We have a sit-down three-wheeler, some new battery partners, lithium.
Yeah. How are you feeling about lithium? There's been a lot of talk here about lithium too, and on the podcast as well. So, are you seeing a lot of people are coming to the booth interested in lithium?
I have, yeah. What's interesting about this show is seeing not only that there's the demand and the interest in going that direction, but also you're seeing a lot of the vendors here that are innovating in that space. That's not a settled topic, as you well know, and there's a lot of folks that are looking at new ways to adapt the product. But I do think that that's where we have to go, most likely, is to meet new energy storage solutions. There are also folks that are doing things like hydrogen here. Interesting, I've met some people there. But you are right, there is definitely a lot of interest in both lithium and in automation at this time. Also, I think if you stop and think about it for a second, Clark has built a reputation around a long history and a strong legacy of quality. Our products have been around for a long time, and we're known for that. But I think that customers demand for data, for analytics, and looking at your fleet and understanding how to manage a fleet. And those are solutions that we're bringing to the table. And I think that those are going to be successful as our industry continues to evolve, are those that bring the customers what they really need, in addition to that quality as a baseline.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting point there, because the data, certainly as we're looking at these automations and things like this, all this, the data drives it, right? So you can't do all this stuff without the data. So the fact that you guys are able to now provide that to your customers and bring them that data to make the proper decisions, I think is a huge point. I think it's something that's really important for the industry and the users themselves, right? So now on the quality front, I have an interesting question for you. So on the quality front, obviously you guys are focused on quality, as you mentioned, but with a lot of innovation and things happening like that, it's sometimes there's a rush to get to market to be able to match up with the innovations that are happening and be able to kind of, I guess, satisfy that shiny thing need for customers, right? Sometimes. So how do you balance that at Clark between ensuring that you're innovating at a good enough speed to keep up with customer demand, but also maintaining that core quality that you guys are known for?
Well, I think when you have companies, everyone is very focused, like to your point, on meeting that new demand and meeting the evolution of the marketplace.
Right.
But when you have a company that's been around as long as we have, you have to take a long look and continue to build in the way that you're talking about. So, for example, everything that we do, like this last year and in 2022 already, is a crazy demand. Right? Orders are through the roof. Yeah. But at Clark, we have continued to focus on quality control. In fact, we've added additional resources resources there to look for any sort of issues and get on them quickly. Because at the end of the day, I think what our dealers and our customers expect from us is to get these trucks out that they have in such high demand, but get them out in a good fashion where they're well built.
Yeah.
They don't have issues. No one wants to get their trucks out and have a problem with them later. It's not worthwhile. So I think that it's the only way to go. And that has been a focus not only in the history of Clark, but as we continue to grow, it's continued to be one of the main core principles.
Yeah,
of our
and
product,
I think that's a great thing. And even you mentioned, the crazy demand now, especially for forklifts. I mean, I know for myself talking to different companies, the lead times are just a little crazy. But focusing on that quality, I think, is a huge thing as well, because you see a lot of times when there's high demand, sometimes manufacturers, they try and push stuff out, get it out to satisfy the customer. But like you said, in the end, if it breaks down, it's not working the way it needs to work or function properly, you're either putting your customers at a safety risk, or you're just giving them a headache, and it's just costing more either on the Clark side, or it's costing more on their side to repair later down the road. So I think it's a really good thing that you're valuing that. So with that being said, and knowing how this world is now with lead times and things like that, what kind of things are you guys doing to help alleviate some of those concerns for customers?
Well, I think everyone is challenged in that regard, everyone in every space.
Right.
And what we do is we look to set expectations. Communication is key, both to our dealers and to our end customers, so they understand what to expect. Right. Currently, our lead times are not as long as some of the other folks. I think that has to do with our versatile sourcing. So we're a global company. We've been around a long time. So our teams do a good job of supporting the vendors that we get parts from and get components, and then also continuing to be flexible. With that quality in mind. When I say flexible, we have not gone to any substandard parts or anything of that nature, but just continuing to be innovative in that piece as well. And I think that it's worked very well for us. Freight and shipping has been a big challenge, and we have some really good folks in that department that continue to find new ways to get there. But at the end of the day, we make a commitment whenever we sell a truck to a dealer, to our customer. We meet those commitments. We continue to communicate with them throughout the process.
Yeah, I think that's great, and I think it's interesting because, from a customer side and an end user side, we've had to become creative and flexible as well. So it's good to see that the manufacturers and the suppliers of the solutions we're using are doing the same thing, and they're able to pivot in a way to help support us and be able to help us push through and get the things that we need to do what we need to do. So it's great that you guys are able to have that flexibility and really get creative in that way. So now let's talk a little bit about your warehousing offerings, right? This is the new warehouse, so we want to talk about warehouse, right? So tell us a little bit about what you offer for the warehouse specifically, and maybe anything that's new in that realm.
No, I'm glad that you bring that up. I think that, as we are measured in our approach throughout all of our history and now in bringing these products out, to your point, not getting ahead of ourselves, it's not necessarily known that we do have products in all 5 classes very strong.
Right.
A lot of warehouse customers really appreciate that quality to talk about, but as well as the technology. Yeah. We are strong in all 5 classes. Class 1 has been a big focus the last couple of years for us. We have new products that are in our what we call S-Series. You'll see people walking around the show, lots of them with the S-Series hat. And that's smart, strong,
I didn't
safe.
Get a hat yet.
We will make sure you get a hat for sure. But that S-Series, you'll see it on everything that we do, and that's smart, strong, safe. So that has to do with both making the product easy to use for customers. Specifically, warehouse customers are always in a hurry, right? It's just that meeting that demand. Absolutely. So the ergonomics are really important, the ease of use with the unit. We have, in the narrow aisle space, we have really strong product, the Restruct product, the order picker, low-level order pickers. So, but we're seeing, as we're very strong also in Class 5 and Class 4, the IC trucks, we are meeting that demand as it shifts Class 4 to Class 1. We have products in that space, and the orders have matched that. So
Yeah, it's good to hear, and I think it's good to highlight that, especially since this is a warehouse podcast, we want to talk about warehousing. But so you mentioned something there about thinking about the ergonomics. So I'm curious, when you go to make changes or bring out a new model or something of that nature, how do you go about thinking about the ergonomics? Because I think that's such a huge thing, especially in the warehouse, because you're constantly moving in maybe different types of directions and movements that you're not maybe used to, or if you're coming new to the warehousing industry or something of that nature, and at some point you have to lift and things like that. So how do you think about ergonomics as you start to innovate and improve upon your existing line or adding new things to the line?
I'm glad that you asked that. If you think about it, one of the things that we do is make sure that our folks, they have regular exposure to high throughput warehouses, DCs, and so they get to see our engineering folks as well, get to see what the demand is. And that's kind of all constantly evolving, specifically in, the stand-up trucks, for example. You're seeing new things. You're seeing the knee pads and seeing, different ways to do that. Europe is sit-down reach trucks, right? So we really, I think the key for Clark is not just looking at, this business is a bit of a Me Too business. You often see, if you look around, you see one OEM does something and then everybody races to catch up to your point a moment ago. Clark takes a little bit of a different look. We look at where is the market going? Where are our competitors? What is their next step? What does the customer want? And then we build towards that, both in the actual innovation in the product and what it accomplishes and how it accomplishes it, but also in that specific ergonomic piece. I think that continues to be an important piece to warehouse workers.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's a huge thing because, we see it, I think, bubbling up like even more through the technology and things because, people are so focused on, I don't know, pretty much everybody that's coming to the booth is saying, labor shortage, right? But, the other thing is that the retention of that labor too. And when you're able to give the comfort and the proper ergonomics to those employees and, they don't, go home every day feeling like their back is sore or something and they just want to lay on the couch and crash. I mean, then you're giving them, a better sense of life and a sense of living, and they're able to, have a comfortable life outside of work as well. So the fact that you guys are taking that into account, and I love the fact that you said the engineers and the employees they'll actually go experience that high volume throughput. I think that's so key to be able to make sure you're developing a right product for those end users and see that. So it's really good to hear that, and I think it's really, really important. So here at MODEX, obviously we talked about there's a lot of attendees, right? So I'm sure you guys are getting a lot of traffic at your booth, and I'm curious, what are some of the, maybe most repeated questions or the questions you're getting asked about a lot at the booth?
Well, that's a good one. If you look around, as you said, there's a ton of robotics here. There's a ton of folks that are in that automation space and a lot of different startups and folks to look at. But what they don't have as many of are that Class 2, that narrow aisle reach truck that we do have. So we've had a lot of interest in the automated reach trucks. And we're getting questions about that. Our national accounts team has spoken to a lot of potential key customers that are interested in looking at those products that we just talked about for their warehouses. And there are a few different specs that Clark has that a lot of the other OEMs don't necessarily have. Some of the unique applications we've had questions about as well. Also, we have a really strong offering in Class 3, specifically in some of the lithium Class 3. We've had a lot of interest in those too.
All right,
so you see the shift in our marketplace. If you look at the last 10 years and going forward in the next 10 years, as we have forecast as an industry, there's a big growth in Class 2 and Class 3 for sure. And we do have products that meet that, and so we've seen a lot of interest.
All right, very interesting. And on the narrow aisle front, that's one thing I think that's been a kind of another hot topic is maximizing space within the warehouse. So obviously, going narrow aisle is certainly a way to maximize existing space that you already have, or initially start out with more space than you may have with a potential standard aisle. So how, was the idea behind developing that automated narrow aisle reach truck to start to accommodate that demand, or how did that kind of come about and evolve?
Well, I think when you look at the folks that build that software and that innovate in that space, there were a few potential partnerships, and so that was really the genesis of that was a partnership with some people at Third Wave Automation that do that well, and they have an innovative way of doing it. So it was just a good fit, mostly because what I think that they were looking for and what we were looking for were aligned priorities. You have a quality platform to build on. You can't deploy these things and then, as you said a minute ago, have issues or problems. You also have to have a strong dealer network. Clark is innovating in that new space that we're talking about, but it's built on a history and a legacy of having that support. Because all of this is for naught if you don't have the ability to support the equipment. We have over 100 dealers in North America, so really have a legacy for sure for over 100 years of the business.
Absolutely.
So it really was a good partnership in that space. It's also not the only thing we're focused on. You asked what people have asked about. That has been some excitement, but we're also really focused on the Class 1 product, the sit-down three-wheelers, the new products in that space, and we're getting a lot of interest there too. Because maneuverability in that warehouse is really important in that as well.
Yeah, that's very true. Especially as, like we said, people are trying to maximize space. You get a little tighter, you need to maneuver a little easier, right? So definitely, very interesting to hear about Clark and what you guys are up to lately, and your thoughts on MODEX as well. People are interested in hearing more about Clark material handling. How can they do that?
Absolutely. You can go to our website at clarkmhc.com. Or you can look around all the S-Series hats at this show, of course. But, Clark is everywhere. So go to our website, clarkmhc.com.
All right, great. And we'll put all that information at thenewwarehouse.com as well. So, Brandon, thank you so much for stopping by the booth today, and hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
You've been listening to the New Warehouse Podcast with Kevin Lawton. Subscribe and check us out online at thenewwarehouse.com.
Thank you for listening to this episode. If you want more content from the New Warehouse, check out our new video series called All Hands on LinkedIn. Just search for the New Warehouse on LinkedIn and follow along.